and welcome to the Body Temple Institute's New Year's Health Revolution. That's our intention. It's actually to create a health movement to help to create, to inspire you to literally run the hell away from your present behavioral pattern of eating, drinking, thinking, and sleeping. Today, Baba Mantu and I will begin with some yoga because the objective is to move this year. This is the Body Temple Institute. Greetings, Ashshakir. Greetings, Yadaya. Everybody, greetings, family. Welcome. This year we are ready and poised to start out our new year with our new life plan. Actually, when I say to start out our new year, we actually should start before the new year begins. Why? Because you have to ready the body. The body goes through this process. Our actual new year is in September, in the spring. We weather the winter. We build momentum in the winter. We build that heat in our bodies and get ready to spring forth into action. And that's what we're supporting you to do with us as we walk into this new year with power, grace, and ease.
The idea that we had came up with just the name for the New Year's Health Revolution is because we always want to take a step forward. If you think about just your ordinary person's New Year's resolution is always to do something better. But we really want to evolve ourselves now more than ever as far as our health goes, because there's certain things we can't afford to take with us as a people for another year. You know, all of the diseases, all the heart disease, all the unnecessary cancers, all of these things could really be avoided with some effort on our part and some education on our part. And so that's been our mission, to do our what we can as far as education goes.
Just a side note, today is not my Earth Day. It is my Facebook birthday, but it is not my true Earth Day. But I do want to give thanks and honor and be grateful for all of you who remember to think about me today. I'm grateful. Thank you. We want to talk about today, we want everybody to understand what is health. What is health and what is disease? How does health manifest in the body? What does it look like? The reason why is because we have to have a goal to shoot for. Right now we're taking the steps to save our life for African self-preservation. But what are we shooting for here?
Right. You know, a lot of times people think if you want to talk about bowel health, they'll say that they every day that they have a bowel movement. And that's not really truly bowel health, because what you take in has to come out. You know, there's the assimilation part of the equation, but there's also the elimination part of the equation. So that's just to give a quick example of people's different perception of what health is. A lot of times, if you have not yet been diagnosed with a disease, a person will think that they're healthy. And a lot of people, unfortunately, actually leave this planet with the thought all the way up until the moment that they leave here that they were healthy. So because they had no catastrophe had struck.
Right.
But we want to have a much higher standard than that of what health is, based upon our ability to function into our later years, as far as our ability to really truly thrive as we live. So, you know, we'll give some different definition of health than you know, maybe some people have as a standard for themselves right now.
The Body Temple Institute embraces the concept of the ability to, health is the ability to assimilate nutrients, eliminate waste, and regenerate naturally. With the natural intake and the natural elimination of waste, your body should be able to do its thing naturally. As one of our master teachers taught us, the body doesn't need anything to be a body. Thus, it should be able to generate, regenerate, and assimilate itself easily without having to have anything to animate itself, without having to have anything to push and force itself to do what it needs to do, without having to have a stimulant or a sedative to do it. The ability to assimilate comes with the ability to eat foods that are able to easily be recognized by the body and able to easily be able to be processed by the body. That and when I say consume, I don't necessarily just mean, I don't want to just mean say food. I don't want to marginalize myself to food. I want to also say the breathing. I want to also say that we need to be in an environment that is easy on the body. We need to be in a relationship with our family and friends that is easy to deal with. And then to be able to connect with those people and not be stressed in that connection, to not be frustrated and angered in that relationship, and certainly not to be in a passive aggressive type of, or even or even go back to say a complacent relationship either, one that puts you to sleep or one that stimulates you to anger. These things are very important. So your whole life matters. Your whole life matters. Then I want you to be conscious of your ability to eliminate waste. Your ability to eliminate waste, not only just physical waste from your bowels, but also from your life. So this is a whole life formula for health. To be able to eliminate waste from your life, eliminate stress from your life, and walk away from it. To be able to walk away from areas that cause frustration in your life, environments that cause that, these things like that. To be able to feel like you can eliminate it and you're not held hostage by this environment. That's vitally important. And to be able to regenerate. It should give you life to be there, and you should be able to regenerate so that you don't keep cha-cha stepping in this relationship with your environment, your food, or your people relations.
Right. And there's a few things that come to mind that people take for granted that means that you don't have optimal health. Since you said assimilation, I'll just deal with digestion. Indigestion, heartburn, all of those things mean that something is not working in your whole intake. You know, something's not working. You either have bad food combinations, non-foods that you're masquerading as food. Something's not working. That may be dark. Something's definitely not working in your whole intake. The other thing is that having stiffness in the body. That's something else that people just attribute to aging, but it's like a calcification of the tissues of the body to cause that level of stiffness. And that also means that something else is that may be done. And something else that's something else that's not working. So let's have a higher state. Let's deal with a more optimal state of health, because it is achievable. And one of the reasons why I coined this the New Year's health revolution is because there's a health revolution going on, and black people seem to be, as a whole, some of the last ones to recognize it. We've been around on this planet long enough where we've seen the drastic changes in the food choices, in the produce areas of, normal grocery stores and all of these things, and the myriad of things that are now available that just didn't used to be available. I didn't grow up eating extra virgin olive oil and all of these other oils and things like that on a regular basis. So that's something that has changed. Now there's a lot of trends out there that we don't give much energy at the Body Institute. The overuse of the term superfoods and all of these things, a lot of that has to do with being able to charge large amounts of money. We get that, but we don't buy into it, and that's not something that we give a whole lot of energy. However, there are certain things out there that we have found to be particularly potent, like Mawusi has advised even pregnant and nursing women with spirulina and things like that to have really been impactful. So, all of these things represent the fact that there is a health revolution going on in America in particular,
yes,
and the world in general, where people are becoming more conscious about their health and utilizing more tools in order to achieve it. So this is already going on. It's time for us as a people to really get on board. I was talking with an elder in our community here who was a contemporary of Kwame Ture. And Kwame Ture was aware decades ago. He said, they're not killing us, the leaders, with guns anymore. He said, they're giving us diseases. You know, there was a time in South America where 5 of the presidents or leaders down there in South America all had cancer. And it has been theorized that that may have been, you know, something that was intentional. Mm-hmm. But it just gives credence to the fact that a lot of times we die at our own hands in forks and spoons. And it is time for us to eliminate those type of factors because we got enough against us as it is already.
Right.
Anything that can be avoided should be avoided.
As we go forward into how to support ourselves, how to help ourselves in this, breaking this cycle of degeneration and moving to regeneration, breaking this cycle of holding on to waste matter rather than releasing it, as we break the cycle of drama and frustration, especially those of us on Facebook, we've all saw it.
Yeah.
We need to move, and social media, we need to move out of these behaviors and move into a more healthier way of thinking, living, and consuming. With such being the case, we can start with something we can control, and that's the food we consume. Right. The food we consume and our behavior. We may have this comfort eating issue. We may have this need to eat those comfort foods or consume those things that we know will help make us feel satisfied or whatever. We have to take a look at our bellies and determine that may taste good to our mouth, but doesn't taste good to our body. If it truly tastes good to our bodies, then our bellies would not be trying to move away from us, move out and away from us. So what I want you to consider is, where do you stand with the foods that you consume? Really have a conversation with the foods that you consume, and really discern and talk to yourself and say, does this food really benefit me? Does this food really give me life?
Right. And with the idea that life comes from life, that's not just rhetoric. That's actually true. So the breath, Mama Mawusi mentioned earlier, is very, very important, and which denotes what? It denotes oxygen. So your food intake should also be one that oxygenates the cells as well. With that in mind, understand that the body is a complex organism. And it has an electrical charge. So there's a certain electromagnetic quality of the foods that you take in that needs to be present for there to be optimal health and function. With that in mind, we realize that there needs to be a transition for most people wherever the opportunity to transition is possible. But being quite honest and very logical, you would surmise that living foods are the most have the most life-giving properties for the body.
Yes.
They oxygenate the most. They have the most potential to give that correct electrical charge to the cells that is needed. So, you know, that's the one place we would definitely start. That's a part of the, in general, health revolution, and will be a part of the Black health revolution moving forward, because we realize this to be a fact.
Living foods is one key factor. The other one is doing your finding movement. in your city, you should find those yoga practitioners, those qigong practitioners, those martial arts practitioners, those practitioners of movement. You need to find that in your area in order to discern what will work best for your body.
Or even if you can't find it in your area, find it. It's the health revolution. I'm gonna keep saying it over and over again.
Yes.
Everything that you can imagine is on YouTube
Yes.
and other places now. Pinterest. You can find out. You have to be responsible for your own health and well-being. And we don't really get an opportunity to make many excuses anymore because there's so much access.
I mean, we seek out apps and social media diligently. If such is the case, let's diligently seek out an outlet for movement and action, circulation in our bodies. You know, that's key. That's a key element, especially during these winter times.
Another thing to think about when it comes to the foods that you take in is what is optimal for the human digestive system. And that is a deep proposition because one of the things that you have to realize when it comes to animal flesh is the enormous amount of time that it takes to digest. That is not optimal for 32 feet of intestines. So might as well say that we're not against people who use animal products. Y'all, all our people, we love you, but we have found, and it confirms itself more and more over our decades of study. It's just not ideal. It's not ideal for the length of intestines that we have. And if you look at things from a nature point of view, truly carnivorous animals have shorter digestive tracts, and they can eat it raw. Y'all heard the whole spiel on that.
They have different digestive enzymes also.
They definitely have
not
different.
so hard on their body to digest meat products.
Right.
Yeah, and it's not that everybody feels we grew up on meat. Everybody grew up on eggs and bacon and sausage and
or most.
Most people.
Because the health revolution been going for a while, and some of these youth have been fortunate enough, like our children, to have not grown up with the standard American diet.
Exactly. But we have to realize too that it shortens our lifespan. It really shortens our lifespan when we are eating foods that are so hard on our digestive system.
Right. Now, another thing when it comes to the standard of health that has to be acknowledged and recognized is that things that our ancestors did, we will not get away with anymore.
There you go.
You know, there were things that our grandparents ate, our great-grandparents, our parents, aunts and uncles, that we just don't get away with anymore. And the evidence is clear of that by things that give people diseases now that didn't used to happen. It's like it ran its course. Our people went as far as we could, operating off of the scraps from the slave master's table.
Yeah.
And it's just, you're not going to get by with chitlins and, all of the fried pork chops and all that stuff. You're not going to get away with all of that anymore.
It used to be a thing in the black community where we would say, I don't eat pork. Now it's so, and it's like, do you still drink Kool-Aid? Like, we're still at that point of, we're actually have moved so far from that point of I don't eat pork. Do you still eat eggs? Even knowing that what they farm factory, industry, shot up with steroids, all types of things that they've done to the chickens, all the things that they do to cows, the mercury that they have in fish, like literally they're using food as a weapon.
Yeah.
They're using food as a weapon against us. The incidences of women being teenagers and having hair growing on their chin, or even some of this homosexuality concept is due to the consumption of steroids in our foods, in our milks, cheeses, eggs, chicken, beef, all of that, and pork.
Right.
So with our overconsumption of meat, we have been turned into not only we've been mutated. We are genetically modified now because of that. So we really have to become defensive in multiple different areas rather than assuming that we will be safe by eating this that like we used to do all our lives. We have to take a more proactive stand.
Another thing to consider when talking about those animal products is that, and they are products today, is that, again, the enzyme factor. So we say that we don't really have the enzymes fully to digest animal flesh. Where we get our enzymes from is very important.
That's right.
Once again, living foods are the foods where the enzymes are still intact. They're untampered, they're unchanged. And by that we mean the green leafy, raw green leafy vegetables that can be eaten raw. We mean all of the tomatoes, cucumbers, all of the vegetable fruits. We mean all of the, we mean nuts and seeds that have been soaked and the different things that people do with those things today. We're not going to get that specific. But the enzyme activity is still intact in those foods, whereas cooking and excessive cooking of even vegetables and things of that nature definitely changes the enzyme, the molecular structure, and does not make them as have the same digestive strength, taking them in that form. So whether you choose to eat mostly living foods or not, you definitely want to incorporate more. So let's just go ahead and agree on that point. Moving forward, make living foods a bigger portion of your intake for this year.
Right.
No matter where you're at.
We just did a video on juicing. Make juicing a big part of your diet as well. If you cannot sit down to a whole salad, make sure that you put it in the blender and puree it and juice it, make a smoothie out of it too, with some avocado. The point of the matter is make sure that you get in live and living fruits, juices, vegetables, things like that this year. Make sure. Why? Because those of us who are melanated people, we have the melanin that comes into our skin. It needs to be fed so that we can connect and hear and even align with nature and the sun and natural elements. That's necessary. Just like a plant's chlorophyll aligns itself with the changing of the sun, our melanin does as well. So we have to eat the foods that are similar to our melanin. We eat those foods.
Right. And you know, one thing about this newfound health revolution that America is undergoing in general is that there are foods that would not be available to us. We agree with the concept of growing your own foods and eating what's in season, but due to the fact that some of us live in the northern hemisphere, where there's nothing really in season, still eat your salads in the wintertime.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go for that one because it's too important to take in certain things that have been shipped from other places. We do acknowledge that. To fortify yourself in ways that could not be done with what would grow in a harsh northern climate this time of year.
Right.
So you know, you use your best judgment. A lot of the like tropical fruits and all that stuff, none of that stuff comes from America anyway, and that is something to address as we move forward in time. But utilize the best tools available for your health.
Yes.
You know, because we got our people live all over. Some of our people in Europe, people in France, Canada. You better eat what's available. Whatever can be shipped in until you can change your location, because it is very important that you have those substances in your body.
Yes. So, get started. Make sure that you're ready to step into this new year with healthy, living foods. Fill your refrigerator. First grocery store trip of the year. Fill your refrigerator from those with those fruits and vegetables that you're going to need to include in every meal for your day. Make sure that you are having healthy bowel habits and healthy habits of circulation and movement going on in your body. So find yourself a local yoga class or a yoga person in your community. We have several with Mama Dietra, Mama Toki, also Mama Salama, and Mama Shalia. Also, we have belly dance in our community. Belly dancing with Mama Soraya. We have martial arts class with the Society of the Inner Arts. We have, so they do Tai Chi and Qigong. We have several different things going on that we found those networks for, and we are including them in our healing network. Create a healing network in your community. Find them all, connect with them all, make sure they know your name and you know theirs. Also, often share their advertisements on your page so that other people in your community can find them.
Right. Stay in tune with us this year. We're going to have more and more cleansing products and things of that nature all the time, booklets, classes, and we need your support because we've been doing this for several years now, and we definitely need y'all's support to be able to keep doing what we do as well. So we definitely, and we do appreciate the support that we do get. We're going to be announcing something soon in particular that we need your support on. It's going to be a research mission. I'll leave it at that for now. It was something we're really looking forward to. We know we'll be able to bring back some exciting information to the family and maybe some connections to some things that we don't have access to here in this country. So we're definitely working on a lot of things. So stay in tune with us this year.
Also, this year, I want you to look out for our juicing party. We're going to have a juicing party. Get together. We're going to get together on January 19th. I'll be having my flyer come out today, report, for the juicing party that we'll have at Gabriel's Place here locally. Also, February 2nd, we will have a Healing Foods and Healthy Life get together where we teach you how to prepare those vegan foods and the things that you need to do in order to add more juicing, more raw foods into your diet, add less takeout, replace meats in your diet, and be able to have some vitality come off of your plate.
Right.
So we'll be having a food preparation class on February 2nd.
Yeah, that'll be back to like healing foods. That's something I've been doing for some years now. So we'll be launching that to the community as well.
And on February 3rd, we will finally have a community herbalist certification class. So we are having an herbalist certification class for this 12-week series. Join us for this 12-week series and let us really bring together a healing coalition. Watch for those flyers today. Thank you very much for joining us. The Body Temple Institute of Holistic Health and Herbal